Hey everybody, this is Mickey G. Well, we spend most of this session talking about Mr. T. And it ain't the Mr. T who said, I pity the fool. Well, we hope you enjoy this edition of Old Fools Talking Old School.
And I don't think anything. I've adopted the attitude because I had so much hope for the files that they were coming out when they were investigating with Comey and all them, and they were gonna get all this information, and then didn't do jack with it. What was that dude that had the big investigation that, and then got up there and nutted up himself? Yeah, I'm like, I don't believe nothing until I see it, till I see something that's gonna happen to him, man. And but yeah, he's just going with the wind. However the wind flow. These oh yeah, his little bitch Mike Johnson, who only moves when he tells him to move. I think their little game backfired on him by trying to keep the Epstein files from being released by sending their the House Republicans home for a month. And those who dare try to do a little town hall got their ass toe up. And then those who didn't, people got a hold of their ass and start telling them about how they felt and all that. And then they see their political career. Trump ain't loyal to you, but these folks saying, we ain't voting for your ass no more. And now they all coming back willing to vote to bring the Epstein files out. I get backfired on them.
I think so too. I think so too. I think it did. And I think people are just seeing, as I say all the time, him doing what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
That now it's affecting me. Now all of a sudden I'm changing my mindset on things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it ain't only affecting, you know, blacks and Hispanics and people like that. There's a whole lot of white folks that these tariffs and all these things are affecting. That is, yeah, I think some of that stuff is backfiring. The only concern I have is that there was a guy that was talking the other day about, he said the biggest problem with American electorate, they have very short memories.
Yes,
they
indeed.
don't, you know, and if you can give them enough time to where when it comes to, you know, election time and you're talking about something that may have come up within the last month versus something that's been going on for years that's affecting your policy, they don't care about that. You know, they don't forgot about that. You know, that I heard a guy, they were doing some street interviews about the Epstein files. There's one guy, I could care less about the Epstein file. That ain't got nothing to do with the president and all that. And I'm like, yeah, you got people whose mindset is so short and are so jaded in one direction that they can't see the forest for the trees.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And could give a damn about their little daughter and granddaughter getting abused like that. You know, it ain't happened to me, so I don't care, you know. And you notice anytime it happened until it happened to one of them, just like damn, I can't even think of what she called her. But Green, she didn't change her tune because them terrorists, and then he was gonna do this with ACA and all that, and how it was affecting her family. Now all of a sudden she didn't change. Open the files up. You know, these folks are only interested that affects them personally, and that's what's done happened to them. Now these representatives have found out that they done pissed off all these people because see they were numb when they were staying up there in D.C. and then they were telling them not to have town hall meeting. Well, when your ass go back home, you can't help but to walk down the street sometime.
That's right.
Or go to the grocery store. They were getting your ass. And there's one dude, I guess he was bold. He was going to have a town hall meeting. I just remember this old man sitting in his wheelchair. I told him, you pissing us all off. He said, when are you going to take your ass out of Donald Trump, take your head out of Donald Trump's ass and work for the people who voted for you? I was like, boy. All he could do was sit there. Yeah, ain't nothing you can
Mhm.
say,
No.
you know?
No. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know, maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene has had a what's that word? Epiphany or whatever it is,
Mhm.
but I don't know. That's a part of me that don't trust her
Hell no.
nowhere near 100%.
Her
Uh,
epiphany is her vote gonna be coming up
yeah,
here next year.
I'm just wondering what her overall motive is, and a lot most of the time it is politics. It ain't about nothing more
Yeah.
than my political survival. So I'm not, I'm not really thrilled about her so-called change of
Hell no.
colors because she even though she said she c- she knew she had been used. I'm like, well, you're a grown ass woman. If you let you sit there and be used, yeah, people are going to use you.
Her
But
her her troglodyte looking ass wasn't used. You was right there with him when you started back in the day telling President Obama that he was a lie and screaming out in the damn State of the Union addresses and you in hog heaven when you thought them white boys over there was your friend
Mhm.
and uh them folks that told your ass too, because you don't know if you're gonna get elected or not again because you taking their health care away from them and they can't afford no food. They can't well what you was on that train with MAGA and they ain't kept a promise yet.
Yeah, yeah. Like I say, it's one of those things that it's hitting everybody, especially in they pockets.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of how long you can keep that in the national spotlight. So when it comes to, and I think the midterms are going to show. I mean, these last elections they had with the guy up in New York and all that.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
he gave a little bit of a wake up call, but I can still go back to that what that guy said about the short memory. Some a lot of
Right.
us have. It'll
Yep.
be interesting to see what happens during the midterm. If there's something else that comes up that takes their mind off of what's
Mm-hmm.
really going on, whether, like you say, it's a war somewhere or whatever it may be. Uh, you don't know. You don't know if it'll last that long or
He's
not, but they got to
he's
keep the
gonna
pedal down.
yeah. He gonna come up with a distraction right
Yeah.
before to manipulate to get what he wants. Because like right now, when all these people came out and voted this time and was in the streets, uh, he started killing them folks down there, them fishermen down there, you know, breaking the law on that. You got to at least, well, that's what we got a Coast Guard for. They get on those ships and find out whether or not these are drug traffickers. I mean, using common sense, I would say those guys that are, if they are fishermen, why are you in a high speed boat when you know he's doing what he's doing? If you're a fisherman, I thought you would be on a boat,
Yeah. A
doing
fishing boat. Yeah.
fishing boat. Yeah, you in these high speed Miami Vice ass things. Yeah, it's just like his administration does now. If it looks like a duck, we're gonna shoot. And so I really be wondering they ain't finding no fish, just like they ain't finding no drugs.
Yeah.
And but he's gonna find a way to try to manipulate the system. Just a matter of if these Americans don't fall for it, cause he's good at that. I think he sets up a whole lot. I think his ass on them so-called assassination attempts. I think his theater ass, cause he think he's a thespian too. I think his ass set that up. Gonna get shot with an AR-15, and he can't even get a nick on his ear, and then the next day it don't even show.
Hmm. Yeah. I said the same thing. I said the same. He's to that point, like you say, he'll do whatever it takes, to make
Hmm.
him look like that martyr that he always thought he was anyway. So
Yep.
yeah, I said the same thing, but I don't know. I think there's starting to be more holes in the armor than ever before. It's just a matter of how far they can run with it.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's
Oh
just a
yeah.
matter of how far they can run with it now. But it'll
And
be
these
it'll be interesting to see.
and these immigration raids, boy, they're just getting out of hand, man. They're arresting more. American citizens than they are anybody, you know. And that one thing where I saw broke the glass and maced the little girl and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I'm like, them must be the same that walked up to the Capitol for him that he didn't release from prison, because that's why they covering their face up. Where did these ICE come from? He's almost like it's Gestapo. It's his own private little army.
Yeah.
That he done federalized. And if they so tough, why do local authorities need to protect them? So
And
it's just
and the thing that gets me about him, and I guess that's part of his political power, especially with the Supreme Court the way it is now. But it's almost one of those, I'll do it, and then if somebody finds a reason, constitutionally, whatever, later on, by the time they get all that through all the court system and all, then okay, I'm done what I was going to do. They can go now. They can go back to wherever they want to go. So
yep.
he's sort of used that tactic a lot of just go ahead and do it. And then there's going to be people that's going to file petitions and court documents to try to say you can't do it. I mean, it's doing that in Tennessee. They
Mm-hmm.
voted, one court today said that the governor overstepped his bounds by sending National Guard into Memphis. Well, they're going to appeal now. So during the
Mm-hmm.
appeal, they get to stay there and do what they're doing.
Yeah.
By the time it goes through all that court system, it's okay, no problem. We're
Yeah.
done now. We done
Yeah.
done all the dirt we need to do. They can leave. So
That's just like him in his private life with them lawsuits. He filed them lawsuits. Even in his political life, file these frivolous lawsuits. And I don't understand why the courts allow it to do. If that's just frivolous, throw it out. As a matter of fact, you know, I always thought that people that got caught doing frivolous lawsuits were prosecuted.
mhm.
You know, and so I don't know what the hell is going on. What is this? This one, because he got so many damn cases going on. They said nobody wanted to know. They couldn't find a lawyer to take it on. Because hell, they're putting their licenses online.
Right, right.
You know, so this is a mess, man. I told somebody the other day. I said this boy has taken over Putin's agenda for destroying this company. I think he's a Manchurian candidate. Putin has got him like a puppet on a string, telling him what to do. Between him and that I always want to call them the moral majority, but them suckers that helped that 2025 help write that.
Mhm.
I said, boy, he don't know what the hell he's doing. That's why he's sitting there. Every time they got them executive orders, somebody got to stand there and tell him what it is. He don't know. He's just following what they tell him to do. And everything they blaming him, or they blaming Biden, that people were carrying him. He wasn't aware. He was senile. That's exactly what they're doing with your ass. Even when he's up there kissing that Saudi princess ass today, went to sleep.
And
Oh,
you heard what he said when he shook his hand, right?
uh-uh.
He told that Saudi prince, "I'm gonna shake your hand. I don't care where it's been."
Oh, Lord, no,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah, "I'm
know.
gonna shake your hand. I don't care where it's been." And I'm like, you know, and then I saw that little clip where he was on Air Force One. That one reporter asked him
Oh,
about,
yeah.
he called her Miss Piggy or something like that. You
Yeah,
know,
man. Yeah.
oh my goodness.
And then you got all these assholes out here. If somebody says something derogatory towards him, oh, that's not, he shouldn't be doing that kind of thing. I'm like, look at your president. And even with Hegseth, he's up there talking about all them generals and admirals and all that were fat and out of shape. Look at your boss, you know, number one. And number two, the only reason you trim is because your ass is a little younger. Give it a couple of more years, you know. But yeah, talking about out of shape and then going after us. We don't need no beards in the military. You know who that's after. Who's got the pseudo
Right, right.
and all that kind of thing. I'm like, boy, y'all don't hide nothing. Y'all just put it right out there for everybody to see. And all them, and you know better than me, all them folks that he fired up there in the DMV area, that was majority black folks, man, retired military people.
Yeah.
That's what they knew what they were doing. And so yeah, I'm like, man, how can these people not see this?
Yeah.
Not see it.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes they don't want to see it.
Yeah.
They know what's going on. They just don't want to see it. There's a lot of people that he says and does things that they would like to do, but they ain't got
Oh
the
yeah.
position or the balls to do it. So he says it for 'em. So that's
Oh
their
yeah.
hero. That's their hero. They don't think about
That's
what he's
his
doing.
role.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's his
yeah.
role.
They don't think about what it's doing to them economically and things of that nature. He just, he's saying things it should have been said before. We should have done all of it. I heard of the guy the other day.
Uh-huh.
Should have sent the National Guard in there before. Memphis has been a hellhole for the last 10, 15 years. Of course, Memphis is one of those predominantly black cities.
Of course.
So I'm like, okay, yeah,
Mhm.
I see why you're saying. It was a white guy. So I see why you're saying that.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, it has its issues. I'm not going to say it does, but every city has its issues.
Has its issues. And they were not to the extent of needing to send National Guard in there. Because hell, their own governor hadn't even determined that thing. And then for the most part, across the United States, crime was going down. And one of the things that trips me out is Boston is one of the most violent cities, but it just happens to be white.
Mm-hmm.
How come you ain't sending nobody there? You know, but we know, we know. Just like he's sitting up there talking about he gonna get rid of them Democrat. They trip me out about Democrat. We're gonna get the Democrat programs that they want. Those are the ones we're gonna permanently cut. Well, if you're looking out for the country, it don't matter who program it is. If it ain't good, you cut it. But you just showed right there what you're about. It ain't about what's good for the country. You just want to be vindictive. That's why you're going after healthcare so bad, because people still identify with Obamacare. He wants to obliterate that.
Yep. And that's why he's going after all these people that dared to defy him during his first term and stuff of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, I guess I look at it like I think our country has bigger issues than you paying
Yeah,
petty and trying
yeah,
to get back at these people just because they disagreed with you. I mean, that to me, that's part of our democracy. You have the right to disagree with someone.
yep.
That's why we have a two-party system, because there's different views on things. So, but just the pettiness I think he's having some mental issues too.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
he
he's
is.
having his own mental issues, and I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to get better. And I think he's going to start to say and do things that people are going to start to even question his mental
Yeah, well,
suitability even more.
that's what I was saying earlier. They claim Democrats was hiding Biden. Hell, that's what they're doing with your senile
Hmm.
old
Oh
ass.
yeah.
You know, and it's ridiculous, man. I don't. It ain't gonna get no better. And he's out of control already. But he's got all of his cronies in place to where they can't do nothing with it.
Hmm.
You can't even, where can you turn for somebody to even attempt to do anything? He done bought the Supreme Court. He got the Senate and the House because they got the majority. So he got everything in place to do whatever, or them
Yeah.
2025 because he's just a puppet. He's just doing what he's told, man.
Yeah, I saw where Mike Johnson was saying that bill was going to go to the Senate where they were going to make some amendments and all this kind of stuff. And he had talked
Mhm.
to what's that guy's name, Toon or whoever, and
Yeah,
that they were going
Thune.
to make Thune. Yeah, they were going to make some amendments, and that they ain't make a single amendment. Can't pay. They didn't do nothing. They said if there ever was a situation where he looked like the biggest fool in the world, that was one of it. It's gonna go down.
Mhm.
They're gonna amend the bill and everything, and then we're gonna get some provisions taken out, things of that nature. And they didn't touch a thing on it. And managed to pass it. And I'm like, okay, that makes you look like even more of a fool.
Yeah, because
So
he is.
yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes. I saw that one comment that Trump made about Massey. After he got married again, he said, "Oh, my only concern is that I hope his wife knows that she married a loser." And I'm like, "What kind of stuff is that?
Who
Why are
was
you
that?
saying?" Trump said that.
About who?
Uh, Massey, that is he a senator or representative? He was one of the
Oh,
ones
I
was
don't
there
know.
with Marjorie Taylor Greene at that rally and all.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. You know, his wife died, I think, about a year or so ago, and
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know that.
he's remarried, and Trump said yeah, I just I just hope she understands she's married a loser, and I'm like,
Oh,
come
ain't
on,
that some
man.
shit?
Yeah, I mean, what kind of petty stuff is that?
Yeah,
It just
coming from the biggest loser
yeah,
in all the government.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Just hope she realizes she married a loser. So I don't, it just there's just no end to his lack of decorum about, it just there's no end to it. I don't know. Like I say, it
Well, they didn't set it up real good. They got everything in place like they want it because they're so afraid that they're gonna be a minority here because they got his old dumb ass to do all their dirty work up front, and that's why they made him uh, take on this vice president because now they just got another young idiot to continue to do. Because if something happened to Trump, he's just a young and dumber Trump too. that can be around a while that they can finish taking over what they want because this is basically, and God forgive us for this AI thing because now, you got these extremists taking over the government and then let them come in with AI now to continue the lies that have been spread. Man, I look online now. I don't believe half that I see.
yeah, and a lot of it. I've been looking at some of the things on Facebook from some of these sites that
Yeah.
I thought were pretty reputable sites, and they
Hmm.
post things, and I mean, I've looked at things and said, "That ain't right."
Yeah.
You can tell that ain't right,
Exactly.
and, you hear all these things and these outlandish headlines and stuff like that, and you go
Hmm.
in and say, that ain't nothing but clickbait kinda stuff,"
That's it.
that didn't even happen, and they have pictures and say, "This is so and so," and I ain't no that ain't that's who that is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's starting to take over, and I agree. I think there needs to be some kind of governance on it, but it's going to be something that's going to be very, very hard to control now. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's starting to almost take over. You know.
Exactly. And that's what they want because that boy, what better way to sow the seeds of lies and for big corporations to maintain control and at the same time cultivate AI to where they don't have to have people and they ain't got to pay no benefits so they can make more profit. So I'd like to know what is your train of thought in that if you get rid of all your employees, ain't nobody gonna have a job to buy what you're selling.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's wild.
Well, it's just going to get to the point almost. What do you believe? I mean, you try to get these unbiased reporting, whether it's news organizations or whatever it may be. You almost get to the point of, well, who can you trust for the truth? And I don't know at this point who you can trust. I mean, it's just almost like most things has some kind of bias to it.
Yep.
And with these AI, I mean, like they're running this special election here for this district that Green that retired. They're running. They rewrote the maps anyway, and then he
Hmm.
retired. And these packs, they run these commercials and things, and you're like, okay, I'm the candidate, but there's these campaign ads out there that are saying negative things about my opponent. I didn't say those kind of things, but still, it don't matter. Everybody who's
Right.
listening to them think it's coming from you because it's
Yep.
talking about your opponent. And they got the right to do that. The way, the system is
Hmm.
set up, they can do those things. So yeah, it's just getting to the point of, it's just hard to know what to believe.
Yeah.
That's why, like I say, in the mornings I listen to the headlines just to make sure that we haven't been invaded by aliens, and then I
Yeah.
turn it off, and then
Yep.
I just want to hear the headlines, and when they lead off with with the headline being, a hurricane down in the Caribbean. I said, "Well, ain't much going on there."
Yeah.
'Cause, and I'll listen to that. They'll talk about the weather, and Al will be to talk about that. I said, "Okay, ain't much going on today,"
Yeah.
and I cut
That's
it off.
that's it, man. I'd been tuning out too, man. Hell, for a while there, Rosin started getting interested in it, and then she wanted to talk about it. I talk about it with her, but she's like, "I'm getting sick of this now. You can't get away from it, and it's all lies." I'm like, "Yeah." And they done got so bold-faced with it, they know it's a lie and will tell you,
Oh, yeah. They don't
you
care.
know?
They don't
Yeah,
care.
so I'm just like, I ignore it. I find myself going weeks with it, ignoring it, and then all of a sudden something will happen, and I start watching it a little bit, and then I get sick of it. It's the same old stuff, you know. It's almost like those little short stories that come on your Vine on there. You already know what the deal is. They're gonna get to a certain point and want you to go to the what is it? To the comments and get
Mhm.
in the comments, and then it's got you on some kind of. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't even start reading no more. I stopped listening to all that crap, man.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
some reason, my algorithm is telling me, giving me nothing but black stuff. I mean, some of it I totally agree with. They had this one brother on there that was talking about the deception of the history. He's talking just like there's no way that Mary took a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby to Africa where they had to flee to. I'm like, well, that makes sense. And of course, then he referred to the parts in the Bible where they're talking about his hair was a wool and his skin was bronze and all that. And it starts making sense. And I'm like, okay. He said, just like the Last Supper, ain't nobody on there got no color. It's all white people. He said, where the hell did that come from? you know? And I was like, well, you got a point, you know? And so he's like, he said, even the myth of Israel. He said, Israel is all the Israelis, for the most part, are white. It kind of remind me of here. I was just before I was listening to that. I was listening to I think it was the Chickasha Indians here, and they was talking about their history, and they got some new constitutions and all that. Everybody was white, looking.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm like, well, where's the true Native American? Because they have a certain look, but everybody was white. I was like, so this guy was saying, uh, 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 he said the name Jew came from Judah. He said Judah was nothing but black folks, but Jew has been co-opted now, and it's got the white face on it, and that's why all these people in World War II, when they took the Palestinians' land and gave Israelis a homeland, and everybody swore to protect it, to keep it there. He said, but if you want to talk about Jews, Jews are from Judah, and they are black people. I was like,
Mhm.
man, you start reading, I'm like, he's making all kind of sense to me. And if you look at the history of these United States, he said a whole bunch of other stuff. I can't remember it all. But if you look at the history of here, they've whitewashed everything. He's like, he went into the artifacts from Africa. Of course, they called it the ruins because they went in there and chopped all the noses and lips off so they wouldn't look African. He's like, and he said he has some scrolls on there of drunk ass Columbus running into the United States talking about he discovered it. And then when he got here, he discovered that there were not only Native American, but there were Africans that were already here, all throughout the Bahamas and down South America and all that. The Africans had uh, gotten here before him, but they want to make sure that everybody think that the white people are the one discovered it. You look at uh, the Pinta, the Santa Maria,
The
you
Nina.
know, yeah, Nina, yeah. one of them three bitches, and talking about they sent they emptied the prisons, excuse me, and but they always claim that the degenerates were sent to Australia. No, they dropped it right here in Boston Harbor. Oh, these were just good people trying to get away from the taxation and the monarchy. I'm like, yeah, they're getting away from taxation and come over here and start taxing out everything else when they get control of it. So there's a whole lot of contradictions.
Yeah, the world is full of contradictions. I think that old saying of believe half of what you see and none of what you hear holds true more now than ever. But that's all right. At least we're living. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition. Join us next time for Old Fools Talking Old School. Until then, this is Mickey G. Peace.